What if the way a man moves in bed reveals more about his love than anything he could ever say? Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, believed that real love isn't always spoken, it's shown, not with grand gestures, but with raw, unconscious expressions in moments of deep vulnerability. How he touches you, how he breathes with you, how he simply is with you when all defenses are down. So, how do you know when it's more than just physical? According to Jung, there are four intimate behaviors, subtle yet unmistakable, that only emerge when a man is deeply, truly in love. These aren't habits, they're instinctive rituals of emotional surrender. Let's uncover them, starting with the one that speaks the loudest without a single word. 1. Deep eye contact. During intimacy, there's something almost otherworldly about locking eyes during intimacy. It pierces through physicality and taps into the soul. Jung often said the eyes are windows to the soul, and in the unconscious, they're a mirror. Unlike words, the eyes can't lie. When a man holds your gaze in those tender, exposed moments, he's not just looking at you, he's allowing himself to be seen, truly seen. It's one of the deepest acts of trust and emotional bearing. Most men are conditioned to separate sex from emotion, to perform, not to reveal. But love changes that. When a man is in love, his gaze lingers, not for effect, but because something within him needs to connect. His inner feminine, or anima, rises to the surface, longing not for conquest, but for communion. Avoiding eye contact can be just as revealing. It may hint at fear, shame, or wounds still hidden in the unconscious, what Jung called the shadow. But when he holds that gaze, steady and unbroken, he's not just sharing his body, he's offering his soul. 2. Putting your pleasure first. In Jungian psychology, love is the reconciliation of opposites, the sacred union of two selves merging into something greater. That union shows up clearly in the bedroom. Lust is selfish, it takes, but love gives, it listens, it watches, it learns. When a man prioritizes your pleasure, he's not just being generous, he's surrendering to a deeper instinct, to make you feel seen, valued, and honored. He delays his own gratification, not to impress, but because your joy becomes his joy. This isn't performative, it's unconscious. The masculine and feminine energies within him are dancing in harmony. You'll feel it in the way he studies your responses, in how he remembers what you like, in how his focus softens and sharpens at once. He's not there for release, he's there for union. These small gestures, asking, "Was that good for you?" with genuine interest, are not casual. They are echoes of the soul saying, "You matter, you're sacred." This is the fingerprint of love. Effortless, impossible to fake. The truth of a man's feelings often shows itself after intimacy, not during. Jung knew that physical closeness quiets the ego, letting the unconscious rise. So how a man acts in the stillness afterward, how he holds you, what he says, whether he stays emotionally present, tells you everything. Many men retreat after sex, a product of conditioning that tells them intimacy is weakness. But a man in love doesn't pull away. He pulls closer. He might rest his forehead on yours. He might open up, share a memory, whisper something soft. These aren't lines. They're leaks from the unconscious. His shadow self, usually hidden, comes forward in these raw moments. Jung called this merging of dark and light the path to true connection. When he's present afterward, not distracted, not distant, It means he sees you as more than a moment. He sees you as home. This kind of affection is the body's way of saying what words often can't. I feel safe with you. I trust you with all of me. Synchronized movements and unconscious mirroring. When two people are deeply bonded, their bodies begin to move together, naturally, instinctively. It's not imitation, it's resonance. A silent, sacred dance of souls. Jung called this participation mystique, a moment when boundaries dissolve and we fall into shared rhythm. When his breath aligns with yours, when your limbs find each other without thought, when silence becomes a language of its own. Science now calls it limbic synchrony, the nervous system's syncing up in a way words never could. You shift, he shifts. You sigh, he sighs. It's not strategy, it's the unconscious speaking. These moments feel mystical because they are. Jung believed this was the archetype of the divine couple, playing out in real time. A memory encoded in our psyche long before we were born. When you lie together and the world fades, when his hand reaches for yours exactly when you need it, when your bodies seem to recognize each other like old friends, that is love in its most primal, most truthful form. No masks, no effort, just instinct. Jung believed that every man carries within him the psychology beneath the surface. Jung believed that every man carries within him an inner feminine, his anima, shaped by culture, childhood, and longing. When he falls in love, he's not just drawn to a woman. He sees a reflection of his own soul, and when that reflection feels right, something ancient awakens, a recognition, a remembering. It's not just chemistry, it's soul memory. That's why the most powerful expressions of love aren't always conscious. They come out in breath, in gaze, in gesture, in surrender. In Jung's words, love is alchemy, transforming base desire into spiritual union. So, how do you know if he truly loves you? Pay attention to these 4 signs. Prolonged eye contact during intimacy, selfless, attentive giving, tender vulnerability after the act, wordless synchronicity in movement and breath. These are not behaviors you can force. They are love's silent confessions. Does your partner show these signs? Have you noticed moments where his unconscious speaks louder than his words? Share your stories in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if this deep dive into Jung's take on love resonated with you, like and subscribe for more psychology-rooted relationship wisdom. Let us know if you'd like our next video to explore Jung's red flags in love, the unconscious warnings that something might be off, even when everything feels right on the surface. Until then, remember this: the body never lies about love, so listen closely, because in the spaces between the words, the truth is always waiting. If this spoke to you, don't just feel it, live it. Subscribe to Stoic Trench for more timeless wisdom and psychological depth, because true strength begins with self-awareness.